Has ham radio become outdated? Is ham radio outdated? And what do the numbers say about the quantities of people getting licensed and retaining their license over the last 15 or so years? Let's check this out. I got this article from Reddit because I was browsing around for some different stories and topics or follow-ups on the FCC delete, the deregulation video that I made a couple of weeks ago that talks about some verbiage changes to FCC policies for Part 95, Part 97, and Part 90. But I ran across this article on Reddit and it caught my eye. Now, the FCC deregulation, and it comes from, this is a Reddit post, obviously, and this is in the GMRS channel, and he's linking an article from thehill.com, okay, with the FCC looking for input deregulation of, quote, anything. How would this pertain to the future of handheld portable FM, HF, UHF, etc.? Will GMRS have a regulated future? Will ham not require a license? Thoughts? And there's some thoughts on this, and I'm not going to read hardly any of this to you guys because it was this last comment that caught my eye. So this last comment right here was from a user. Now, this whole article is 8 months old. And all of these comments are 8 months old at the time of this recording, okay? But this is still pertinent information because of the FCC deregulation, blah, 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 Department of Government Efficiency and all that kind of jazz going on right now, okay? Ham radio, this right here, this is from this guy named Texas Weed. Now, I'm embarrassed that this guy's in Texas, quite frankly, and he's obviously smoking some weed. Okay, so let's just read his statement here. Ham radio has become outdated. One significant drawback is the lack of diversity among its participants, particularly regarding age and gender. First of all, that's not completely true. Second of all, I don't see that as a drawback. If ham radio was alive and well in the female community, more so than the male community, and it was growing in numbers, as I'm going to demonstrate to you here in a second, I still wouldn't see that as a drawback. So I don't really agree with his statement there, but let's move on, okay? He says, if you attend a ham fest, you'll notice the majority of attendees are older white men with very few people of color present, okay? Again, the numbers might say that, but I don't see how that's a drawback, okay? And again, everyone is welcome in ham radio, and I think we've demonstrated that in numerous videos and numerous of my live streams and my happy hours. You need to check out Bill, Ham Radio Tectonics, and you need to check out Elle from She's on Frequency. Check some of those channels out and see. And yeah, there's a lot more white men making videos today than there are others, but anyone can do it. You are welcome to do it. Start your own channel. This is the part right here that he's most wrong about. This is basically conjecture. This is his opinion. He has the right to his opinion just like everyone else does. I don't agree with this opinion, but he has the right to it. Okay. The second instance here is really kind of what I want to focus on anyways. Nowadays, the testing process for attaining a ham radio license has become overly simplified. It often feels like mere formality involving signing your name and paying a $35 fee. A lot of people want that. That's not what you do. You actually have to know some information to get your ham radio license. And I agree with and respect the fact that people take the time to go get their ham radio license and study and take a course. Okay. I respect that. And I think that's something we should keep in place. Okay. Otherwise, it'll just become like CB radio, and a lot of people will say GMRS radio is already becoming that way because you just sign your name and buy a license. Anyone can easily pass the test since the question and answer pool is available for free online. That's been true for about 5 decades, maybe longer. So this is like, so what? You still have to know the material. It's not an open book test. They're not going to spoon feed you the answers during the test. You still got to know the material. It's a 400 question pool of questions with 35 test questions for both the technician and the general test. And then the extra pool is, it's either 5 or I think it's 600 questions. It might be more than that now. They've changed it a few times recently. 600 or so questions in the extra test question pool and 50 questions on that test. So you still have to know this material to pass the test. You can't just look it up or use your phone or Google it during your test. You have to learn and know the material because you don't know which 35 questions or which 50 questions are going to be on your test. You can simply download this information and take the test without any real education, knowledge, or skill. Despite making it easy, the numbers continue to dwindle. Okay, so I will agree that the test is easier than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that. In 2006 is when they removed the Morse code requirement. So it used to be a long time ago, you had novice, general, advanced, and extra. There might have been a technician in there as well. Okay. But then they came out with the technician no code. The novice, the general, the advanced, the extra all required Morse code. And the difference was you had to do more words per minute as you upgraded your license. Okay. And then they came out with a technician no code, which was the first ever test. And I think it was around 1991 or 2. That's the first first license I got which in 1994. And they also had a Technician Plus, which was a few more questions, but also Morse code. And then eventually they got rid of all of that, and they had Technician only, General only, and Extra only, and it was all questions, no Morse code. And this happened in 2006. And since then, the numbers have pretty much, with the exception of some COVID fluctuation, the numbers have been pretty much growing since then. And I'm going to show you the graph that I found. I did some digging today, and I found some graph and some numbers for people who, the total number of licensed people and the total number of new licenses that we've seen since about 2007. First, let me tell you about Red Odo Power. Red Odo is the sponsor of today's video. Red Odo is one of my favorite batteries. They make batteries in all sizes. They make RV batteries, car batteries, this Group 27 size batteries, whatnot. They also make small backpackable batteries for your ham radio operations, for your POTA pack, okay? During the month of November and December in 2025, you can save an additional 10% off of all of their prices with the coupon code of HAMRadio10. This is a special coupon they have given me to give you guys, my viewers. So check out the link in the description below from Red Odo Power and use the coupon code of HAMRadio10 to save an additional 10% off of all their Black Friday and holiday sale prices this season. So this guy's basically just, he's either trolling or he's got a stick up his butt about something, okay? He's conjecturing a lot of opinions, misplaced guidance, and fake facts, fake news, as it were. And this is what someone who has this mindset, it's not, I'm not going to start talking politically or anything, but so I did a little bit of digging and I incorporated some websites and I put some stuff together and I did a analysis of the number of new ham radio licenses and total number of ham radio licenses since 2006 or 7, or some of that information wasn't available, I should say, okay? Based on data from the ARRL annual reports, news releases, and FCC statistics compiled by amateur radio clubs, here's a summary of the number of new ham radio licenses issued each year. Note that the exact figures for 2006 and 7 were not located in the available resources. The Morse code requirement was eliminated in early 2007. I actually think it was 2006. I think the AI got this part wrong, but leading to a surge starting that year. Yes, yeah, and that's been talked about in numerous videos since then. The data shows a steady growth post-2007, peaking around 2014, possibly influenced by COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So here's what we see. So in 2008, the number of new licenses in 2008 was 28,066. Just over 30,000 2009, 27,000, 24,000, 27. It kind of peaks right here around 2014 with 33,241 that year. And then it kind of remains pretty steady until 2020, and it actually dropped in 2020 to 29,000. And then we got a surge in 2021 because a lot of the lockdowns started in like early 2020, and a lot of people were at home watching YouTube. I got a surge on this channel watching my channel watchers in YouTube, and there was a lot of people asking about ham radio licensing and ham radio testing. So you can see right here at this graph, which all these numbers right here in this list have been compiled into this graph right here. And you can see right there that the numbers kind of dipped around 2020, then they got a shot in the arm around 2021, and then for whatever reason they kind of dipped down in 2022 and 2023, probably because those numbers would have been a little bit more average if we didn't have such a peak in 2021, okay? And then you can see for 2024 they came way back up. Over 30,000 people got a new license in 2024. This is new ham radio license issued per year from 2008 to 2024, okay? I think that's a respectable graph right there. I would like to see it go up a little bit more like this, and I wonder if 2025 is going to be higher than this since it did such a jump from around 24,009 to around 30,006 from 2023 to 2024. Why are we seeing that? It's possible we're seeing that simply because of events like Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Harvey here in Texas a couple years ago, and places overseas that are employing the help of ham radio operators for earthquakes and tsunamis. I've been reading some stories about that lately. It's very possible that we've been seeing that type of thing. People are starting to take notice and recognize, like they have in the past. People recognize this and they kind of let it drop off for a while, and then they recognize it again. It's a whole new group of people recognizing it. Okay, good. I think it's encouraging to see these numbers the way they are, because according to this guy's pedantic comment on this Reddit post, he says the numbers are dwindling. You would expect the numbers to go down if they're dwindling. Instead, the number of new licenses each year, again, this is not a total number, this is a number of new licenses each year, continues to stay about the same or go up a little bit. And you can see that with this graph right here. You can see it's kind of steady from 2014 to 2021. It's all kind of steady. And then it dipped a little bit in 2022, 2023. And I wonder how accurate that information is, honestly, because I have seen other graphs where it was basically remaining steady. It got a spike in 2021, and then it kind of dropped back down to where 2019, 2020 were, and it remained steady to where you see it is in 2024. So I question whether these numbers are accurate, but let's just say they are. Well, it's still an encouraging number to see it raise up about from 6,000 more new licenses from 2023 to 2024. Now, if we could look at the total number across the world, the data for worldwide, I couldn't pull that. I couldn't get the AI, the Grok AI, to recognize that. It said about 3 million worldwide from 2007 to 2024. It gave the same exact number. And it even says that. It says for worldwide totals, comprehensive yearly data is not available, as the IARU's last full global survey was in 2000. 3 million licenses. Okay, so they haven't done a global survey since then. Okay, so let's look at USA licenses only. Total number of ham radio licenses in the USA in 2007 was 655,800, and today in 2024, it's 744,000. This is a total number of licenses, not just new licenses, not upgrades, everything together. How many people have a ham radio license today? Again, we don't have 2025 numbers because we're not done with 2025 yet. Maybe middle of next year, I'll be able to do another video and talk about 2025 numbers. Don't know what those are yet, okay? But as of the end of 2024, there's 744,000 licensed amateur radio operators just in the USA alone, as compared to 10 years before that in 2014, there was 725,000 in 2014. So we saw a spike right here around, like, say, 2000 and 2021, and that's what I expected to see, because we actually got a lot of more people licensed during COVID than what you would expect. And then it's kind of gone down since then. Sadly, some people probably actually died of COVID, especially given the age range of some ham radio operators. But, and I'm sad to see that. I'm sad to see those numbers go down. Of course, I don't wish that on anybody, but the numbers still remain steady. So over the last 17 years in total, we had 655,000 17 years ago, and we have 744,000 today, 90,000 more than we had about 17 years ago. So in all, the numbers keep going up each year, not down. So yeah, you can be sarcastic, you can be pedantic, you can be, down in the dumps, you can be half as glass empty if you want to be, but the numbers speak for themselves. The number of people getting their ham radio license generally increases each year. The number of newly licensed hams and the number of total licensed hams is on a steady rise. It's definitely not dwindling. If it was dwindling like this guy said it was, then you would see those numbers kind of steadily, either slowly or quickly, increasing in a downward slope, and they're not doing that. They're either going up or they're kind of staying steady, okay? And, new people come into the hobby every day, and people go silent key every day, sadly. And that's just kind of like the cycle of life. So it's up to you and I to get people interested in amateur radio and tell them what it's actually about, and not believe crap that you read on Facebook and Reddit and Twitter that's just all down in the dumps and sad-faced people who have nothing better to do with their time than just cue about everything. So go out today, tell someone about ham radio, tell someone how great it is, because this is one of the best hobbies that I have ever been a part of. I welcome you. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your background is. I don't care where you're from. If you're interested in amateur radio, you're welcome in this channel, and I welcome you into this ham fam, as it's called. 73 guys, I appreciate you watching today. If you have comments about this or any questions or another topic, put a comment in the video below. And if you like this video, if you enjoyed this, check out these videos over here, because YouTube thinks you want to watch these next. We'll catch you next time.